Hello and welcome everyone, this is Calebovitsch coming to you with the third part of the Briar Draft Guide Trilogy. This part is going to be all about numbers and deck examples, and I have a couple of theoretical deck lists I would like to show you, but first let's talk about the numbers. Yes, and by numbers I mainly mean the power base of the decks, and for Briar, it depends on which plan Briar is going for. If Briar is going for the aggro zero-cost Briar that you might have seen in Classic Constructed, which is a lot of zero-cost non-attack actions or very cheap attack actions where you only usually need to pitch for Rosetta Thorn attacks, then you don't need many blues and or yellows for that. I mean, I would say between 6 or 8 blues, if most of your deck consists of zero-cost cards, should be more than enough. Probably even yellows should be in the role of blues. So for a more lightning version, for a more go attack version, it is rather around 6 to 8. On the other hand, if you're going high as a mountain, as an earth-like mountain, and you have a lot of 2 or 3 costing attacks, then the number of blue cards in your deck should go higher, up to 10, maybe 12. Not as high as for Oldhim though, because Oldhim needs to block and use those defense reactions and whack with the hammer for 3 resources, while Briar only uses her weapon for just 1 resource. So 6 to 8 on the more lightning front, 10 to 12 on the more earthy front. So obviously it depends on your game plan. Now, another balancing act is between the number of non-attack actions to attack actions. And I believe in the lightning version, depends how many attacks already have go again, right? The more of your attacks have go again, the more of them you can have in your deck, because it is mostly about attacking, not supporting attacks that you might not have drawn in your game. So if you have a lightning version with a lot of go again attack actions, or potentially a lot of go again attack actions, then the non-attack actions can be just like 10 to 12, something like that. But if you are going for those embodiments of lightning, you can go up as high as half of your deck being non-attack actions and half your deck being attack actions. On the other hand, if you're going high and you're not really counting on Rosetta Thorn, which you should, theoretically, then your non-attack actions can dip below 10, but it's not really advisable. I would say 10 is kind of the break point where that is where you want to be what you want to be aiming for. And last but not least, fusion. And this number I've already talked about in the Lexi draft guide. So if you want to fuse with an element sometimes, you need around 6 cards. If you want to do it often, 8. And if you want to do it always, I would say about 10. And do bear in mind that a lot of these also are non-attack actions. As we've seen, the best non-attack action as a class card is Bramble Spark. Most of the other non-attack actions should come from elements. So there is an overlap there, obviously and thankfully. Now, remember, those are just numbers, and every draft deck differs, obviously. So let me give you a couple of examples. First up, I am going to show you a more earthy or go high version. Okay, so as I've done it in non-attack actions, attack actions, non-attack, attack, and here we don't have any non-attack, so these are only attacks. So when it comes to non-attack actions, there are only 7, which is a very low amount in this go high version. You have 4 Bramble Sparks, which is amazing, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Earth cards. So these should get fused more often than not. That's why we have 2 red and 2 yellow ones. We also have Double Weave Earth and an Earthlore Surge, which means your attacks are really going to go high, high, high. Furthermore, 2, 3, 4 Rites of Replenishment and 2, 3 Stir of the Wilds. I think this version had a 4th Stir of the Wilds in red as well, but no matter, even with those 3, it should be already fine. There is 1 Veil of Flash here and 1 Arcanic Shockwave here. Arcanic Shockwave here with 4 lightning cards, and 2 of those lightning attacks actually have Go Again. The worst card in the deck, I would say, is Shock Striker, because it doesn't do much on its own. It doesn't combo, it doesn't fuse that much, but it probably is decently necessary. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blue cards, which is on the lower side of what you want for Go High attacks. Fortunately, those Bramble Sparks and Weave Earths cost 0, but your 1 big attacks usually cost 2 or 3, like you have Autumn's Touch, Break Ground that go in for 7, and those go in for 5. But you also have 2 Stirs Rights here, and Rights and Entwine Earth here. And given that you will, most probably the most you will do is 2 Earthlore Surge, 3 attack. Then you need a blue and a yellow for that. You do have Suede Hides here as well, to help you with getting a Go Again on your attack. So theoretically, you could go Bramble Spark fused into a 2 costing attack, into Suede Hides, into Rosetta Thorn, but that is 2 or 3 for the attack, 1 for Hides, 1 for Thorn. So that is already 5. So you need 2 cards to attack with and 2 cards to pitch, so it is rather a clunky turn, but it can go for a lot of damage. Like let's say Stir the Wildwood over here, even the yellow one. You're playing Bramble Spark fused into Stir the Wildwood fused, and you still have an Earth card which is left in your hand, like you're playing this and this of let's say Shock Striker, and you still have a Break Ground in your hand that you fuse these 2 with, okay? So Bramble Spark means 1 Arcane, Stir the Wildwood means 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3, so that's 11, okay? And you can later pitch that Earth card to use Suede Hides and to attack with Rosetta Thorn as well, because arsenaling it wouldn't be that great. What this deck would need is to put probably some of these yellows into reds, or maybe a blue into red. It does have 2 Singeing Steelblade, 2 Sigil of Suffering, 4 Bramble Spark. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 arcane damage here already. Rosetta Thorn is not going to be hitting that much, and I would have to say that once you get Lightning Surge, you should aim to put it into your market more often than not, unless you can go for something else that is really sweet. On the other hand, if you do that, then you're just diminishing your non-attack action, because you're playing a Lightning Surge into a non-attack action, right? Because if you play Lightning Surge from the arsenal, it gains Go Again. Then you play one of these, but these only fuse attack action cards, and you're sacrificing amping up an attack for just dealing 2 arcane damage with Rosetta Thorn. So that's probably something more for the end game. So having all that in mind, blue Lightning Surge, perfect target for you to pitch and use for resources early in the game, because then you're setting up your second cycle, because this is one of the keys to dealing arcane damage with Rosetta Thorn later in the game, right? That's how you need to look at these. This is kind of a puzzle. You have to bear in mind the number of arcane damage you can deal as a whole in your deck. So as I said, 4 from Bramble Sparks, 2 from Steel Blades, 2 from Sigils of Suffering, 1 from Arcanic Shockwave, but you don't have that many lightning cards, so that probably is not gonna go in there. So we have 8 here, and let's say these will always come in. Okay, let's suggest that. Let's suppose that. So we still have to deal 12 damage to the opponent. So we're trying to max up our attacks, our big, huge earth attacks, or boosted attacks with those Weaves and Bramble Sparks, so that the opponent, well, they have to take some damage, otherwise they're not playing any of their turns, right? And then you have to drive it home with the rest of this arcane and with those Rosetta Thorns. So this is theoretical deck number 1, more go high earth-like. The other one in a moment is going to be a more lightning variant. Okay, so let's count it up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 blue cards. That seems like a low number, but if you take a look at the costs of cards in this deck, we have 2, 2, and that's it. The rest is 0 or 1. So you don't need that much, but you do need to combo yourself through this. Next up, we count up the number of non-attack actions, and it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is actually on the higher side, especially that invigorates need you to fuse your cards for them to actually work. You have 3 earth cards, and you have 1, 2, the fused attack. So that's 1, and that's it. 1 fusible earth attack, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fusible lightning attacks with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lightning cards. So the lightning part of this deck should be working really well. You also have Mark of Lightning with Ball Lightning, and I would like to once again emphasize what Ball Lightning does. Whenever a lightning or elemental action card would deal damage this combat chain, instead it deals that much damage +1, go again. Remember, playing a non-attack action breaks the combat chain. So if you go Ball Lightning into Flash into another lightning attack, Ball Lightning is no longer in your current combat chain, so it doesn't enhance anything. Also, if you're attacking with Ball Lightning or a subsequent attack in the same combat chain, someone blocks with a card from their hand and you use Mark of Lightning, then Mark of Lightning says the attack deals 1 damage to the defending hero +1. If there is an attack that deals arcane damage on the stack, it deals that much arcane damage +1. Unless it's a Singeing Steelblade, which is not a lightning and not an elemental attack action card, then these don't get enhanced. But something like Arcanic Shockwave, Rites of Lightning, etc. deal more arcane damage as well. So the game plan here is to use everything that you can with Go Again to play an NAA, enhance your next attack, use the attack with Go Again, and attack with Rosetta Thorn. And if you do something like Bramble Spark into Lightning Surge from the arsenal into attacking with Rosetta Thorn, you only need 1 resource. And that means you need 1 resource in hand, Bramble Spark in hand, Lightning Surge in the arsenal, and you're still dealing, let's say, 1 arcane, 4 regular, 2 regular, 2 arcane, so that's 3 arcane and 6 regular, so that's 9 damage from 2 cards in hand and 1 card in arsenal, and the card you're pitching can even be friggin' red, because you only need 1 resource. That's the beauty of this whole thing. It also has 3 Electrify and 2 So Tomorrows. All of them have the text, if this is played from arsenal, draw a card, and it's a non-attack action with Go Again. These work really, really well with the whole combo-esque game plan of Briar. You also have these Invigorates, and, well, fortunately for the Lightning version, the Entwine Lightnings have Fusion, and if they are fused, they have Go Again. So Invigorates with Entwine Lightnings, with Lightning to fuse it with, it's a really, really good game plan, especially that later you just pitch for something and you use Rosetta Thorn. So this is a more combogenic deck. I would have to guess that you have to think a bit more when you're playing with this version over the previous version, but it can do really amazing and crazy amounts of damage from seemingly nowhere. On the inevitability part, let's count this one up. We have 1 from Mark of Lightning, 2, 3 from Arcane, 4 Arcane, 5, 6, 7, 8 Arcane, 9, 10 Arcane, 11 Arcane. Already, right? Anything else? Anything else? I don't think so. That's already 11 arcane damage sewed somewhere in this game, into this deck's game plan. Okay? So you only need to break through for 9. Some of it might be on Rosetta Thorn attacks. So even if they block all physical damage that is coming towards the opponent, you still can deal 20 arcane damage throughout the whole game. It is possible. And that is what makes Briar such a crazy powerhouse to play against sometimes. Like, Briar can have those turns, can have those games, can have those turn cycles where you just, like, sit and okay, I can't do anything. Let it in, let it in. Even if I block with everything, it's just gonna go a breakpoint over breakpoint, like Lightning Surge for 4 into Entwine Lightning for 4 into something else for 4 Arcanic Shockwave with Fuse for 4 and 1 Arcane, and you can't do anything. And those Embodiment of Earth tokens pile up, pile up, pile up even higher. So those are the 2 examples I wanted to show you of theoretical Briar draft decks. These are not decks I have drafted. These are decks I have crafted from my drafting experience of how this could look like or would look like. That's one of the reasons why they only have 1 item, because if you have more than 1 item, then you should consider yourself really lucky, unless those are like Ragamuffin's Hat, which doesn't really count as an item, but sometimes does something, like howdy doody. All right. That was a really long trilogy, but I hope you've learned a lot, and I hope this is going to bring you a lot of success in your future Tales of Aria drafts in Flesh and Blood. And until next time, Calebovitsch out.